Alright, NXT. Now, I'm not going to take long with this because I'm working on something, so it will not be heavily detailed. I'm not going to say what it is, but I am working on something. But let me tell you this. You look at this show. It's a good show, building into Stand and Deliver. And what's going on the main roster, let me give it to you like this. When you look at the main roster, you look at what happened this Monday. I know Jess Alex and JD were pissed off. And as I said before, this is not about creating a story for Roman Reigns or for Cody Rhodes. This is really about a story of Ari Emanuel maximizing his new investment in TKO WWE. That's what this is about. It's not about if the stories work or not. It's about, can they make the most money no matter what they do? Because think about it for a minute. Chad Gable, flat out, would have been the better person because of the story last year. And they dropped and picked him up multiple times. He's lost multiple times. But the story is still very well developed. But all of a sudden now, out of the blue, they just bring it up and then put him against Sammy, and he loses to Sammy. Why? Think about it. In a couple of months, they're going to Saudi Arabia. There you go. If he wins the title, it'll really make a big impact in that country. So seeing if Sammy wins, I wouldn't be too surprised if he did win. Now, if he lost, fine. But still, this will give some people, when they do go there, a big boost because he can come out and talk about it. But if he wins, he'll come out with the Intercontinental Champions and say, oh, see, I got the title from America. There you go. Now, Open. Let me give it to you like this. The qualifying match, that's with Out the Mud versus the Latino World Order. I'm not going to lie to you. No. Yes, I know they're going to do this gauntlet. Well, not a gauntlet. It's a ladder match for all the tag teams at WrestleMania. I understand it. Yes, it's clear. It's cool. I understand. But when it comes to NXT, doing the same thing, doing a kind of like a tournament that's going to be for the tag champs here, no. I think it's kind of a bite off. Now, I didn't expect Out the Mud to win because they're not ready yet. So, Latino World Order, there you go. Next, Mr. Stone versus King. Let me make it clear. Lexus King was going to win no matter what because there's no way they're going to make Stone win over someone they really want to begin to push. But I got to tell you this. He's not a bad wrestler, and he's a good manager, but there's just no way creatively they're going to go there. They're just not now. They got to do something to make it special, and they're not going to. He's still considered a manager, so he got his ass whooped. He's about to get his clock cleaned after he lost the match, and a Von Wagner is still quite popular. Comes out, saves him, and carries him away, and someone's calling him a baby. Please, why? Idiot. That's just me. Where did they go with this? I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with Lexus King and Von Wagner. I don't really know when this is going to end and they're going to do something more with Lexus King. Because yes, he's getting wins, but where is the story for him? When is this going to mean something important to him? Uma Femi versus Briggs Jensen. Now, let me give it to you like this. We all knew Briggs was caring about Jensen. We knew that Jensen was going to lose to Uma Femi because they're pushing him hard. There's just no way Jensen was going to beat Uma Femi. There's just no way. I knew he wasn't going to do it, and it was obvious. Did he put up a good fight? Not too bad. Briggs comes out trying to encourage him, but when it comes down to it, I knew he was going to lose. But the question here is this. What is going on when it comes to Uma Femi? Now, he may have a program soon with Dijak, which will help him get over more, but as it stands, yes, he does not too bad of a promo. Yes, he has a menacing look. and he's not 100% trash in the ring. He's still very green. It is obvious he's green. He's using raw power to get over in his matches. That's what he's doing right now. I'm not against him. But when you see him, he should be here, and he's here. There's nothing wrong with it. With time, he will grow, but it is obvious he is not at this level yet. He is right here. He's got a long way to go. And when it comes down to it, the question is, how are they going to book him to get to here? Because being here with that damn title does not mean he's here. That's the question for me personally. Next, Ariana Grace versus Gigi Girl. Let me give it to you like this. This entire match is about turning Gigi into a pageant contestant in a sense. A woman with grace, poise, beauty, sexuality, having intelligence, having skill. That is what they want with Ariana Grace to give to a Gigi Dolan. Do I believe this is going to be good? I do not know. Now, mind you, Gigi's a gorgeous woman. She's beautiful. She got birthing hips. That's what most men and women would say. This woman got birthing hips. She's got a beautiful face. She's that. And most people would say when she has kids, she's gonna get thick. She has that look. That's what many people are gonna say. That's what I kind of say. Not taking anything from her. There's no way she can't stay in great shape and not bulk up. But she looks like when she has a kid, she's going to be thick. That happens to most women when they have kids. Sometimes they actually become more voluptuous or more thicker. Either way. And look at Gigi. She's a beautiful woman physically. And I do like her as a character. She wrestles pretty well. But when you see what she's been, where they work with her with JC James, where they work with her with everyone else, you wonder, why is she still here? Why is she still there? Because you wonder, when is she going to be moved up to the main roster? I'm not saying she's perfect, but at this point, she's as good as she's going to get. And if they're not going to move her up after, if it's not, I think it's going to be SummerSlam. That would be the best time to move her up. But the question is, will they do it? Because at this point, she's done everything she can, and I don't know why she's still there. Moving on. Oh, and since and this is what gets weird, she nutshots Ariana Grace because she tries to put a tiara on her head. And she's got the nut shot. She hits her between the legs. Ariana sells it, and I'm going like, why are you giving this woman a nut shot when she's got no nuts? That's not going to hurt her. Doing this, that's not going to hurt. Maybe if you do this straight between her legs, that would make more sense than using your bicep to hit somewhere that's not going to hurt, because it's not going to hurt. I'm like, wait, what? What did I just witness? She literally nutshot someone that has no nuts. Let's move on to the next two segments for the women. Izzy Day and JC James versus, well, at first it was supposed to be a Thea Hale with Kiana Jordan, but she gets taken out. Done. So Fallon comes out to give her a hand. And one's JC, and I keep forgetting the one that she's with's name. I don't know why I can't remember her name. When I see more of her, I'll probably remember. But when they came out and Thea lost, they get in the ring, and pretty much she pours her emotions out. That's Thea. She pours out her emotion, said she thought she was her friend, she idolized her, but she used her. And then she tossed her aside for the next best thing. So now she says she's reverted back to being the old Thea Hale, running around the ring and being herself. And it seems that Riley is enjoying it. Now, I'm not going to get anywhere more than that because of what's going to happen with the Heritage Cup and everything. But basically, Riley is happy that she's reverted back. But is that the wisest thing to revert her back to the way she was? It's like taking a step back. She didn't need to revert back to chase you running around crazy out of her mind. She could have just turned away from that and become something more. Maybe a little bit of that, a little bit of what she is, and then combine the two with something more, and then you get something more of Thea. That's just me. You guys tell me below. I just don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's right for her to revert back to the old Thea Hale running around and chase you, being the old firecracker that she was, when she could have toned down the firecracker a little bit, taken the bit that she had become when she was with JC, and then combined the two to be a little bit more of something entirely different. Being a grown-ass woman with a little bit of firecracker, a little bit of maturity, and not a lot of sexuality, but a little bit of sexuality and clear-mindedness. I don't think she needed to just go back to the way she was. That's just me moving on. Now, I have to say this about Roxanne. Roxanne taking out Lyra was good. Roxanne going in the ring, trying to sound menacing. I'm going to be honest here. She didn't do bad in her promo at all. Talking about Lyra Valkyria, about her life and what she went through for the last year. She did well, but let's make it very clear. As it's known, there are some people that just have this way of talking, no matter if they increase or decrease the way in the pitch of their voice, that you can feel something from them. Then there's some that has that tone in their voice that's monotone, that no matter what they do, it always seems to be even. And it doesn't seem to sometimes get over to the fans. When you look at Randy Orton, he always had this monotone voice. But only recently, last couple of years, that he know how to take advantage of all the years he's worked and understanding how to do the psychology of pro wrestling. And it's not about him raising his voice or lowering his voice. It's about his enthusiasm with his voice. He's enthusiastic. He gives his own attitude. And it's still the monotone voice, but Randy's different. Now I look at Roxanne Perez. I see an early Randy Orton. She has this monotone voice that is just even. She's cute. Her voice is cute. But she doesn't feel like she's really being serious. And that's the thing she needs to learn. It's about how she becomes so enthusiastic. She needs to learn what Randy did. That it's not about raising your voice or lowering your voice. It's your enthusiasm as you do the promos that makes you different. Because now he's got it. He's finally a very well-rounded pro wrestler. Finally. He was always really great in the ring. He always has this great character. He was always very monotone in his delivery. And he had no real enthusiasm or understanding of psychology when he did his work. Now he does. That's what she is at when he was early. The same thing. It's not about how monotone her voice is. It's her way she shows her enthusiasm in her character. She's got a good character, but she needs work. You can feel it. Now, Ava comes out. And I will say this time when Ava came out, she's not wearing the same type of clothes as she normally wears. And she felt better as a GM. She did. She still needs work with her stick. But at least the ring attire, well, not the ring attire, the attire she was wearing this time around felt more of not someone who's from a faction, but someone that is somewhere in between being casual and almost being a professional. She's like, here's casual, here's professional. She was like here. Now she's come up a little bit. So she looks a little better. She made it very clear. She tried to explain why they took the title away from her. She was not involved as a management yet, but she explained why. And then Paxley comes out, tries to attack her, doesn't work, and now we're getting a match next week between her and Paxley. Now, Ava does not say that Lyra is out permanently. She just didn't even get a chance. She's telling Paxley to back off. So, there you go. All right. Spears versus Holland. Let's make this clear. Spears was going to win. The question was how Holland was going to react. Because they showed his wife and kid. They showed him on the phone with them. And Spears trying to pull the evil intent out of him. Which he did. And then he still won. The question is, where are they going with Ridge Holland? Are they really going to have him work with Shawn Spears and become this creature of destruction and violence and brutality? I don't know. It's still a big question. But it is good to see Shawn Spears did not have the job here. And since they are doing a story with Ridge, and doesn't matter if he wins or loses, the story is he cannot control his aggression and he's hurting people and he can't stand it. He's conflicted. That's fine. Let me give you two like this. Don Dragunov. That was the best segment I've seen Dragunov or Don do together. They've had very little interaction, but what few they've had has never been as good as this. Don's in the restaurant with everyone, including Crucifino. And now he got his stuff done with him, and he likes Crucifino. But then Dragunov comes to the restaurant unannounced, uninvited, and he sits down. He's not being totally disrespectful, but he is coming to a place to Don and understand. You don't go to a place without being allowed to go there. But Don still likes him. He actually likes him no matter what happens after Stand and Deliver. He makes it clear he respects him and he likes him, but still he's got to be taught a lesson. And pretty much he was taken to his car, locked up in the boot, drove to a bridge, unlocked, and then they have their talk. And I think this was the best talk that Tony D'Angelo has ever made. Really, yes, you can say Dragunov has his moments, and he does at the restaurant talk very well. I think this is the best time I've seen Dragunov talk in an environment that's not the ring or in the back. It's in a setting, he's a little more focused. But you see Don, and he says, look, I've come here more than a few times, and people that I bring here do not leave. But you're different. He made it very clear at the restaurant, like I said. He says, I actually like you. No matter what happens, I like you no matter what. That means he's not going to try and end him. And he wanted Dragunov to understand that under normal circumstances, if I wanted you done, you be done. And he says, then why don't you? He says, no, I want to do this the right way. And that's something that you don't normally get from a heel Don, Tony D'Angelo. This is a face Tony D'Angelo, but he's acting in the terms of if you had an honorable, pretty much, mob boss, one that, yes, he's going to do what he's got to do. He's going to be nasty. He's going to take your head and chop it off and stick it on a spick and hang it somewhere. But he's going to make sure if he's going to do that, he's going to do that to the right person. And everyone else, even if they're not involved, he's going to show them kindness and respect. That's what we got with Tony D'Angelo. He's a honorable Don. That he's sick of screwing around, not being respectful the way he really believes, because he's been lying, cheating, stealing stuff, but he's never really truly embraced being a Don. Where you got two choices. The Don can be 100% ruthless and evil and shows no respect other than ones he care about, or he's the type that wants to do stuff straight. Yeah, he's still going to do underhanded stuff when it's necessary, but he more than wants to show that he's willing to do something honorable. What he did with Dragunov, he didn't have to do. He could have had his ass beaten up and thrown out. No. He respects him because of how hard he worked. But he wanted to make it clear that if this was any other person, you be gone. I like that. That was for me personally. I liked it. Final thing, the trick and kiss. I think that's what I'm going to call this one. Let's make this clear. We got Trick Williams come out. And I think this was the best promo he cut. Guys, I don't know if anybody remembered. I said it almost, a year and a half ago, easily. When it was, Mello was still North American champion. And he had to go into that, what was it? What house was that? I think it was that fun house. And he's trying to get his title back because it was stolen. And Trick was there. And they'd gone through the motions of what happens in a fun house a year and a half ago. But then, when it was over, once they went to the pay-per-view, I felt like, after Halloween Havoc, I felt that it was time for Mel to move on. He had been there for a bit, and I felt like he was ready. He already given up the North American title. He's already going to, what was it, North American or World title? No, the World title, not North American title, the World title. And I felt by that time, once he lost it, he was ready for the main roster. But they didn't pull the trigger on it. They still haven't. But I knew sooner or later Trick Williams had to go off on his own, because I felt that as a hype man, as a manager, he's a great manager, but we don't know what he can do in the ring. We don't know if he can work on his own. And I was one of the few that said, time for Trick to go off on his own, to find himself, to see if he can actually work. And if he does well enough, Melo can put him over before he leaves for the main roster. That's what I said. Now look at him. At a year and a few months, he has reached the point where he's so over. His promos are on point. The promo he cut was one of the best ones I've seen him do yet. Honestly. Making it very clear that he got his heart broken by his brother. That he was willing to give his, not just his clothes, his food, that he needed for himself, he'd give it to Melo. And then, the level, that was the best part when he talked about the one thing that I didn't like, but understood. You said I wasn't on your level. Oh, no. I understood. You saw my potential. That's what it was for me personally. For me, that he talked about the potential when he said he wasn't at his level. And now at Stand and Deliver, they're going to have the match. That's what he wants to ask for. But then, what did we get? We get Nolan Dar coming out with the metaphor, and I'm going, why the fuck is he out there? And he says it clearly that right now you got the rocket on your back, and I want to get a little piece of that. You ran away with your tail between your legs. But then, when you for a little bit of Lash Legends staring at that man, and I don't know if they're actually together, because after that little segment, I'm one of those two are actually together. They could be. They could actually be together, or maybe not. But when Nolan Dar and Mensa try to mess with him, does not get what they want because he whooped that Trick. You got the Trick and kiss because as Lash is about to smack him, and as you already know if you saw the segment where he's saying, my boo's looking at me right there, that's my boo now. She tries to hit him. He stops her, grabs her hand, scoops up in his arms, and kiss that Trick. Oh, that kiss and Trick. Everybody's saying, oh no, and there goes a sucky, quack, more sucky than a quack, because he's sucking on those lips like for all dear life. And then a few more hits for Mensa and Nolan Dar. Go outside the ring. And that's it. And you see a Lash go. That was a very good and unusual segment that we get from NXT, or WWE for that matter. When was the last time you saw something like that? The most you had something with that is Otis and Mandy Rose. And that was near the height of the pandemic. But at that time, it wasn't the same because Mandy and Otis, yeah, they got over big, but it was not like this. It's different. This was a good build into Stand and Deliver, another good build. For me personally, I'm more interested here than the main roster because the main roster right now, I'm not going to lie to you. Look, my enthusiasm for WrestleMania is still there, but I can tell this has not been a well-built WrestleMania. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if it's JD or just Alex. I think JD understands what I'm doing it the way I'm thinking because they still don't have any real clean plans. They're doing whatever it takes to make the most money. That's what JD doesn't see. I see it that way, but JD does not. He's thinking that since he had to change because everyone turned against The Rock, that they keep changing things on the fly because they're trying to make things work with The Rock, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins. But I think it's not that. I think, honestly, what it comes down to, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes don't mean a damn. Even doing what The Rock is doing, it doesn't 100% matter unless it's this. Now you're going to say, dude, that's how it's supposed to work. No. You're trying to promote something that'll make the fans happy or pissed off or something. The type of pissed off that means that's a damn good heel. Or get people happy because that's a good face. Or a great match. The way it looks, no. What just happened with a Chad Gable and a Sami Zayn, I truly believe is that they want to maximize the most amount of money. It's not about if the writing's good. It's about what will bring the maximum amount of money when they go to Saudi Arabia. Now, I know they've already been scheduled for that, but still, people still buy merchandise there. People still buy t-shirts. They buy posters. They buy cards. Even though the Saudi prince has paid for them to keep coming, they're still going to make huge amounts of money at the concession stands. And that's what they want. Huge amounts of money for concession. And if they can get Sami Zayn shirts even more than they would normally be for a Chad Gable shirt, that's what they're thinking about. They're thinking about more money, not about what would be better booked. But it's just me. Peace.